Hi, this is Danny from Scott Country International. This is part 2 of Clash of the Titans between the Pulsar Thermion 2 XP50 Pro and the Infiray TH50. This video, I'm conducting a out in the field side-by-side test on real quarry. So let's see how we get on. Welcome to the Night Vision Show. Hi, Danny here from Scott Country International. Just to follow up on the Clash of the Titans from the first episode. Essentially, there was a comment about the zoom function on the XP50 Pro LRF, which I have here in front of me. I've been shooting this now for 4 months, and shooting Pulsar for a significantly long time. However, even though I'm out 3 times a week, I learned something, and essentially I was incorrect when I said about the Pulsar LRF, essentially the Thermion 2 LRF, sorry, going incremental from a base mag of 2 to 4 to 8 to 16. That's the quick button that you have here on the plus button on your top of the scope, which is what I generally use. However, what you can additionally do is zoom in. And that's by simply pressing the button once, and then you scroll the selector dial on the side here on the left hand side, and that will literally incrementally zoom it in and out up to 16 16 from base mag of 2 up to 16, which is it's a great function. So that wasn't incorrect on my side. Hands up. It's something that I should have known, but we all learn, every day is a school day. So that's on here, but just as a reference point, you're pressing here on the top of the scope, and then you're dialing, okay, and that's more than adequate. However, I will give Infiray the dues when it comes to the zoom on the Infiray. It is simply tweaking the dial, and you can hear quite prominently that noise, that clicking, which, as I've said earlier on, it will get picked up on a still night. The Pulsar, however, does not. So there's another win on that perspective. Okay. A colleague and myself basically had the XP50 Pro, which you can see is the orange full crosshairs, and my colleague had the Infiray with the 3-prong reticle, and it's red. Okay, so the first thing we looked at really was a row at 100 meters, and you can see with the Infiray, I do go in and out, but I ping it with the LRF, and with the Pulsar. So with the Pulsar, I ping it with the LRF and establish it's around 110 meters. There's a bit of messing around, just trying to get the LRF onto the road, just to make sure I've got absolute accurate representation of distance. But as you can see, at 110 meters, it's really clear. And even when I go to 4, it's really clear. And then what you do see is the clarity, so I can easily adjust the focus, playing really, really simply. And I do that several times, just so you can demonstrate. You can see that focus in and out, and how simple it is. At 8, it's pixelated, as I alluded to. I wouldn't be shooting a deer on 8 personally, because at that range, just because of the shot placement and just not there. But vermin, I'll go all the way to 16 once I've identified it, because it's not, you're going to get a clean dispatch when you're shooting a varmint round. With the Infiray, you can see we started off the quality at 4, 3.5, 4 is exactly the same, pretty much when you look at it. What you will get is some distortion from the downloads, and this is what I mentioned about the imagery that you get downloaded from your devices via phone and compression, etc., to put onto the internet. and all the things that happen to it do not show the quality of these scopes. So you can see with the deer, it's really clear. It wasn't challenging either scope. Then we moved on to a row at 220 meters, and you can clearly see it's on a hedge row. You can see exactly what it's doing and what it is. It's a roe deer, and she basically just having a chew at the brambles, and just going along. You'll see where she stops with her back to us, lifts her neck up, and she's literally taking leaves off and berries, etc., from the bushes, and that's at 220 meters. So at 2, obviously with the LRF, sorry, the pulsar, you can see exactly. It's the clear, the clarity in that picture is fantastic. Then when you go to 4, again, you can see exactly what it is. When you go to 8, obviously, then that's where you're going to lose it, because you're looking at a 220-meter target, and you're magnifying, you're digitally magnifying, which is where you're going to get your distortion. The Infiray again performed really well. So at 3.5, then pushing out to 4, it was good. And then at times 8, it's very comparable to the pulsar. So from a quality of image, I have no, you can't really split them. The only reason you would get a better target was when you are closer range, and that would be when I'm on ×2 magnification closer, then I get the benefit of the clarity. Looking at the rabbit and pheasant, so we were just looking on an area. I've been looking for a fox, and while we were waiting there, we saw there was a rabbit, and as you can see, we ping it. It's approximately 100 meters. So we're watching the target, and then a pheasant literally got up and just walks across the front of us. And you'll see by both the detail of the bird. It's so clear, and I think it's approximately 80 meters. This bird is. So you've essentially all the detail of that bird is clear. You can see exactly what it is. Clearly, it's insulated as well with a feather, so it doesn't show as much of a heat signature as something like a fox or a rabbit. And with both pulsar and Infiray, it was perfect, and it was really clear to see. And then we saw a number of rabbits at 100 meters, and essentially, again, there's a group of 3 there. I look in with the pulsar, ranged it, and then scanned left and right to see what's there. You'll see with the ×2 magnification what I mean about clarity, because it really is crystal clear. And with the Infiray, obviously at 3.5, it's good, but it's just not as good as the pulsar, because it's the ×2 base mag, and that's you can't get around physics. That is just the way it is. But obviously, when you go to ×4, it's comparable with both. We did find a couple of Charlies, and one at 100 meters. It's not a very long clip, for the obvious reason. It came in. It was quite wary. I squeaked and dispatched very quickly. My colleague literally got onto the target and saw, a matter of seconds with the Infiray. But as you can see quite clearly, you can see exactly what it is. I didn't get it at ×2 because literally I was on ×4 magnification. I was doing something else, and literally it turned up, and it was in front of me. So, but you can see the clarity there. You know exactly what it is. And then the last thing I looked at was a fox at 180 meters. Now, you can see absolutely clearly that is a fox, and that is 180 meters away on a cut grass field in the summer, which has got heat all around it. So the ambient temperature of the grass, I don't know, maybe 15, 18 degrees. All right, so you've got a lot of heat because that grass has just been cut. And so when you're looking at a target, you're going to get some distortion with that. Not a massive deal, but the scopes deal with it because of the sensors and the way the scopes are designed. That ability to differentiate between small changes in heat allows that really good display. And you can see there yourself where you would put in and bring in ×8 magnification and ×16. So that to me was quite clear. But as you can see yourself, like any scope, as I've mentioned several times, once you start going past 4, you start getting pixelation because you're digitally magnifying, and that's just the way it is now. But that these two scopes on the market now, they are the top end, and if you were trying to do this with the lesser sensors, you're going to struggle to see the detail that you are seeing with these two scopes. So I think if I was to overview again about the footage, just a big reminder, when you're taking any thermal scope output and you're putting it through file compression from your phone or whatever else to put it on the internet, you're going to lose the quality. So the big thing for me is make sure you get yourself to a show or come and see the specialist at Scott Country International if you're around that area, or at any of the shooting shows or game fairs you'll see Scott Country International there, big black and white stand. The staff are there. You have all the range of all this equipment to trial and use, and literally seeing is believing. You've got to put it to your eye and put some context to that, and you'll see what I mean about the picture once it's in your face. Because if you're looking at a screen that's, I know, a 20-inch screen now, and you've expanded that image, it's going to get distorted. When it's sat in your eye relief, it's a different game. Anyway, yeah. So that's that from there. Just to reiterate a couple of other points. Across all the testing, there's some functionality that I prefer on the Infiray, and some I prefer on the Pulsar. I like the Pulsar base mag of 2. I like that quality, that sharpness. Infiray is good at 3.5, but I lose that field of vision, which I really like. And then obviously the dialing up with the Infiray, I can zoom in really quickly. Lose the clicks, please. And then on the XP50 Pro LRF, well, the LRF, it says it all really. That ability to range and ping my quarry at night. I do cover a lot of ground, and I'm out quite late, so it's just that assurance. You know exactly how far that target is, and before you dispatch it. Anyway, please come and see these scopes in action, because me talking about it online is one thing, and the picture quality you see on the screen, it doesn't do it justice. What you need to do is come and see these scopes in action, look through them for yourself, and essentially make your own comparisons and see what fits your purpose. Anyway, these are all on show at the game fair at Ragley Hall in July. So please come and see us in the Scott Country stand, and we'll have a full selection of not just the Infiray and Pulsar, but a number of other thermal and night vision scopes. This is Danny from Scott Country International, out.